Jane Cards. Welcome back to my channel. Today I turned the camera on while I was playing around. I received this stamp set from a new craft community called the Collective Creators. The three women that started the community, they designed the stamp set, and because I became a member for at least a year, I received this in the mail. So I wanted to color it up, and I had this idea to kind of alter the stamp set a little bit and create a scene. So I decided to use the mug with the tools in it like it had spilled out on the table or like it was laying sideways, and then I wanted to have a mug of coffee in the background because, you know, a crafter needs some caffeine. So I did some really simple masking. I probably didn't even need to cut the one mask. I could have just lined up the edge of the post-it note, but I trimmed out the edge, and then I just used a sticky note to make sure I masked off the top of that mug, and then I just drew it in. So this is how things happen when I'm just creating. I pull out my hex chart and just pick colors. Like I said, I wanted this mug to look like it was laying on its side, and at this point I still didn't know where the light and the shadows and any of that should be. So I was just playing around seeing where I thought it would be, and I kind of think when you lay something on the side like a coffee cup, you would end up with this like extra shine line like at the top and then one kind of in the middle. And I don't know if that's really how it would look, but this is how I chose to color it. This is a color combination I have never used before. It was based on the colors on the hex chart, and you'll see later that it took a lot of ink to blend this one out to make it nice and smooth. It actually bled all the way through this cardstock, and this is 80-pound Nina, so I guess you could use 100-pound to make sure. And I might have just, I don't know, not blended well because I was just kind of playing around. I hadn't planned on actually making a video with this. I just turned the camera on just in case there was some cool stuff. So this color combination, like I said, is like R37, R08, R05, and oh, what's the other color? It was a really pretty color combination. I'm looking through the markers right now. Oh, R22. And then later I do add this R89 here because I just wasn't seeing the dimension on this cup that I was hoping for. I had those highlights in, but I think because my highlight color isn't super light, I needed a much darker shadow color. And then that kind of shadowy spot in the middle of the cup, I didn't want it to go as dark. So then here I pulled the hex chart out again to pick a aqua color for the other mug. And you'll see through this video that my Copic markers are a mix of traditional, regular, original Copic markers, sketch markers, and chow markers. I don't discriminate against a Copic. I like them all. Actually, it was just what I could get and what was on sale or what was the best price. And I don't have a problem with any of them. If I'm using color for a large area, I prefer the sketch or the chow just because of the brush tip. And that's the only reason that I would pick one of them over an original. But really, in all honesty, I just choose by color. I don't really care about the marker. Even holding them in my hand, it makes no difference to me. I think actually my hand gets a little less fatigued with the original ones if I'm doing a ton of coloring. And this is more coloring than I usually do. Usually I pick smaller images and I don't do scenes, but I happen to be watching YouTube videos like I always do when I craft. And I was watching Kelly Latevola, Antonia from oh, I forget what her channel is. Taffleberry Lane. Oh man, if you have not checked her out, you need to. She is, oh my gosh, an amazing colorist. Um, so Kelly Latevola, Antonia at Taffleberry Lane, and I was watching Courtney Kreeber, and they are all just amazing colorists when it comes to card making. And so I thought I would try my hand at a little bit of a scene here and see if I could do them worthy of coloring here. And there are a lot of things that I would change about this card, but by the time I got this far in the game, I figured I was going to finish it and see what happened. But the reddish orange, the cup that's got the tools in it, is really at the wrong angle for this. It should have been a little more straight. I think in the end it's fine. Maybe the bottom is tipped up on something, or I don't know. But and this is what I did, and I went with it. If I was to do it again, I would make sure the angle on this bottom cup was just a little different. So here I wanted to draw in what would be like the table edge or counter edge, and I used this Copic multi-liner, I think it is. It's super old. I'm sure came with one of my very first sets of Copics that I got from like Michael's with a coupon. Um, I think it was like the black and maybe a couple of gray markers or something. And then I decided I absolutely loved the globe in this set, so I wanted to put a picture on the wall with this globe. So here I'm picking some colors. I wanted a really light pink for my background because if you've seen my company logo, you know that it's pink and black. And before I got too far here, I wanted to make sure I kind of drew in a little frame for this picture so that I didn't get too close with the pink. Not that it would have really mattered. The colors that I chose for the background and the frame would have went right over the pink anyway. But I wanted to draw that in there. My husband came in and I was showing him what I was doing. Look, I put a picture in the corner and I'm making a scene card, which is something he doesn't usually see a lot of. So this color combination here is something I don't think I've used either. It's R20, R30, and then R00. And the R00 is a traditional original Copic marker. Here I put a little shadow underneath the picture frame. The color contrast isn't very much, so you can't really see too much of it, but it does show up. And then I used the chisel end to fill in my wall. Got a really nice blend. Those colors blended really, really nice. And then I kind of, when I colored the red mug, I realized I would not be doing a white countertop, so I kind of wanted like a concrete countertop. And I think the warm grays play nicer into that concept. So I used several warm grays to create this concrete countertop, or kind of what I'm thinking is a concrete countertop. Actually, the color plays really nice with this light pink too. So I was just filling in the counter, and here you'll see my strokes go the other way and you can really see where they overlap. I do fix that later, but I would say try to keep your strokes going all the same way. It will make a big difference in how your coloring turns out. Like the mugs too, I tried to keep my strokes kind of going along with the shape. So here I was putting in the shadow, and I picked a W7, which is like too darker than the actual countertop in that area, and I just kind of thought this is where the shadows would be. I don't really understand shadow and highlight and all that stuff like some of the other colorists that are on, or some of the colorists that are on YouTube could really teach you a lot. Kelly Latevola always talks about her art class. I took art, I don't remember none of that stuff. Antonia, she is amazing, and Courtney Kreeber too. She will talk you through all your shadows and shading and all that greatness. But I used that W7 and then I blended it back out so it wasn't so harsh, and I think it turned out okay. And then I pulled my hex chart out again and I picked some color for the coffee that is in this mug back here. Apparently whoever's drinking it has not been crafting long, because that is a full cup of coffee. And then I wanted to kind of match these scissors. I don't use these scissors, they just are in my desk thing and they spend their time spinning around. They just are traditional orange scissors, and I thought it was a really good jumping point for color. So like I said, I used my hex chart to find the color that I wanted them to be. I think they turned out great. They definitely resemble that orange color. And I will tell you now, I did all this coloring without realizing that I was creating a rainbow of tools, and I didn't even think about it while I was creating. I was just coloring, and it was good. So here I was making the brush or the paintbrush handle brown, and then I used the lightest of that brown combo for the frame on my picture in the back. There's no shading, I just filled it in. And then the pencil, I used the same colors as I did for the scissors. I just didn't pull in the darkest orange, so it stayed yellow. And then here's the pinks, and I used the same pinks I've used on the wall. I did use a ton of markers when I created this, so I tried to keep the same colors in rotation. And here for the silver, the metal parts, I used cool grays. This is the only place I brought the cool grays in, but it's two of them, that's fine. And then here I brought that warm gray in for the I guess outer space on this picture here. I wanted that warm gray from the countertop to be in another place, so your eye travels, and I figured that was a good place to have it. So this is like my favorite green combo. Actually, any green combo that has the YG17 marker in it is my favorite. I didn't know I had a favorite color. I always thought it was like aqua or sapphire blue or even pink. I did not think my favorite color was green, and it's not green. My favorite color is YG17. I don't know. I just like what it does to different green color combinations, and I really love what it does to that one. So and then I chose this same color combination for this marker here. I figured if somebody had made this piece of artwork, they would need those same supplies to make it. And I really just wanted to make sure your eyes spread, and I didn't use the green in just one place. So here I used my B90s for the water on the globe. It's kind of my go-to anytime I do color a globe. I really love this color combination. It blends really nicely, and I think I have all of the B90s. I didn't pull them all out, but it gives me lots of options for water or blue jeans or night skies. It's just a really pretty blue combination, and it gets really dark. The B99 is really dark, and the B91, which I'm not using here on this card, but is really light, so you can get a lot of dimension in your coloring with this natural blending family. So here I was just filling in all the water and making the globe look kind of rounded, making sure that the water was lighter in the center of the globe. And that was that. And then I decided to color this colored pencil in with the same blue colors. So I have the green and the blue. And then I needed to color the wood part of the pencil, so I used a lighter brown combination. I also did the paintbrush bristles in the same brown combination so that it was used in more than one place. And then I was gonna make the ruler green. I even pulled out the green and opened the green, and then I decided, I have a purple ruler. I think I'm gonna make it purple. So I kind of matched up the colors from my ruler, and I chose to make this a purple ruler. I probably could pull out supplies that match each of these, excluding the cups. The cup that I usually use for my coffee is light pink, and it says "Hello Gorgeous" in gold. I got it last year as a gift from one of the families that I drove their daughter on my school bus. It was one of my favorite gifts, and I absolutely love it. I drink coffee out of it almost every day. So here I was finishing up the cup, adding a little bit more dark color to the inside. Up until that point, I didn't know what color I wanted it to be. And then I needed a sentiment, and this says create your own world, but it was too big. So I did something I rarely do, and I cut it apart. It'll go right back together. I did stretch my stamp just a little bit while I was doing it, so I made sure that I didn't cut into any of the letters. And I used my Misty because at this point I had been coloring for about, I don't know, 45 minutes or so, and I wanted to make sure I didn't screw anything up because, I was just playing, but I did really like where I was going with this card. So I stamped that twice with the Versamark ink, and then used the Simon Says stamp ultrafine gold embossing powder, and it says create your own world up there. And then I added some stars to outer space with this white gel pen, and then I put these gel pen details on my mugs, and I was not happy with the white gel pen on the aqua mug. I don't know what I did, or I tried to cover it here with some marker, which does work. So if you ever need to do that, that does work. And I still wasn't happy though, it just looked kind of wonky. But I decided to keep going, so I put some shimmer on the globe, because if I had a globe picture on the wall in my craft room, it would need shimmer. So then I put this shimmer on this mug, and I was careful to avoid the white gel pen because white gel pen will dissolve with the glitter pen. I don't know what the chemical makeup is, but it will dissolve. I was so unhappy. I did exactly that. I dissolved the white gel pen on this mug with this glitter pen. So I could have just left it like that, but I decided to go back over and put my gel pen details in where I wanted them, and it was so much better. Oh, I loved it so much better. So then I was trying to decide if I wanted a little white border, and I did. So I trimmed off just a little bit, like 1/8 of an inch off the top and one of the sides, and then I made sure I did the top so I didn't cut any more of those tools off. And then I adhered it to my card base and trimmed the extra, because there's always extra somewhere, with my scissors. And that's the card. Here are some still shots of my card, a close-up of some of the shadow detail, the shimmer, you can kind of see it here, and a little picture of the globe. On your screen you'll see another video if you'd like to continue watching, and thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it.